Withdrawal, rolling at the start. We here to bring the truth. Jar open this podcast. We breaking through the fake news. They try to silence us, but we will be subdued. We're bearded alpha males here to save the youth. Spitting fire on the mic with the bass Christian takes. Exposing the lies, keeping the demons at bay. We ain't afraid to speak up. We won't be swayed. Jar open this podcast where the truth is laid. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas up, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. We ain't playing games, we're on a mission to awaken the masses with our intuition. Pulling out the corruption with no inhibition. Jar open this podcast, sparking a revolution. We're not afraid to stand tall in a world full of deceit. We're the voice of reason, bringing light to the street. Keeping it real, never missing a beat. Jar open this podcast where the truth meets the heat. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas up, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. Jar open this podcast where the truth will never cease. Join us on the journey to bring back peace. We're rolling Atlas thugs, fearless in our release. Jar open this podcast where the lies will decrease.
All right, what is up, everybody?
What's good?
Good to see you. Like your new background lighting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. I actually got a really good deal. I got it. You ever heard of Where You Been At?
No, never heard of it.
So they do this thing where they get like massive bins, right? A lot of it's when they have what's the right word? But there's like damaged product, like the box might be messed up.
Oh,
They get a bunch of like warehouse product, and once I can't remember which day it is. I always have the days mixed up, but I think it's on Thursday. Everything in there is 25 cents. So you can even go in there and find like C4 pre-workouts. I mean, everything, shoes, everything. So anything that would be in a warehouse or shipping or anything you can find in there. So I checked it out today, and I think today was like the $6 day, and I found that light. I'm like, oh, it's perfect. I'm gonna do that right away.
nice.
Got it set up. Took like 2 seconds to do.
Is something online that you can do, or
No, it's like all in person. It's like
Okay.
based on location. So I actually drove back into Columbus today because I had to go check on my old car that's still sitting at my old apartment place.
oh,
But I figured, I was down there. I went to Dollar Tree first of all to go look for a cheap light, and they're all kind of garbage. But then I went to Where You Been At, and it's like right next door.
oh,
It
nice,
was like $5, I think, today.
nice. I see. What up, Mad? Sorry, I can't speak. What up, Mad News Now? What's up, TNT? Donnie, House. Good to see you guys. Jet lag. How you doing, buddy? Jet lag. I assume jet lag travels a lot. I don't know. TNT just got back from walking the dog. Cool. My dogs walk themselves. They break out of the backyard and just go for a run in the woods until they come back covered in ticks and soaking wet.
Oh, good. We got a lot of people in here starting off with. Nice.
Yeah. Good to see you, Steve. Ticks bummer. So just so you guys know, tonight is a tequila night. It's not a whiskey night. Changing things up a little bit.
I
But we
can't
got
drink tequila.
what's funny is I was just talking in the Discord. I mentioned tonight's a tequila night, and I've had the same bottle of Patron. Somebody gave it to me for my birthday, maybe 3 years ago is what I said in the Discord, but I was thinking about it. It might actually have been 4 or 5 years ago. So I don't think it ages like wine, but
No,
it
I don't
still
know what the
tastes
shelf
the same.
life is on that stuff.
It's been in the fridge, so it's fine. It's alcohol. It's
Yeah, it'll last 20 more years.
So you guys might be able to tell. Still got the injured chicken inside. You're probably here. Oh, my mic's blocking the view. Her leg is just not getting better. I'm wrong. It's definitely a bourbon night. That's what TNT says.
Huh.
What's up, Chris?
I
So
am,
yeah, we
I
got a
turned into
lot
a
of.
social drinker. I barely
Yeah.
drink anymore.
I only drink sometimes, usually during the shows, to be honest with you.
That's fine.
Yeah. It's fun. It makes it more social. For some reason, I'm getting all choked up. I got to clear my throat. Excuse me for 1 second.
I'm thinking about that chicken, man. It's got you tied up.
Yeah. It's got me all choked up, man. I need this chicken to get better. She's one of my favorite ones. She's a pretty hen. I don't want her to have to go to the farm, go visit the farm. What's that phrase? Yeah, go live at the farm.
Right.
Jet lag says, "Gentleman Jack for me." Yep.
Yeah, good to
Bad
see
news
everybody in
now.
here, man.
I got Codigo. What is Codigo? Never heard of that one.
No idea.
Is that like a gin? I don't know. Somebody else was saying I should try gin in the Discord, which, by the way, guys, we do have a Discord that you guys can join. Kind of keep these conversations going, not 24/7, but close to it, right? A little bit different place. It's a place where we just, become friends, family, that type of stuff.
Yeah, we make fun of you if you're gay.
Talk about some of the things you can't talk about on YouTube and things like that as well. But
yeah, right. It's actually mainly what ends up happening.
Jet lag says,
look here. Glad you got all moved in too.
Oh yeah. Jet lag says, look at my picture of my rooster. Somebody dumped in my yard. Let's see, Maui Wowie as well as Cadigo Tequila. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. Can't see your picture that well, but that's funny. Somebody dropped a rooster off. They should have just ate it. That's what I usually do with my extra roosters. But
Oh yeah, congrats to Tix at 7 years non-alcoholic now. Congratulations.
Oh, that's good. That's good, Tix. Sorry to peer pressure you there, bud. Not trying to bring up old stuff. Let's see.
Show me a conviction. Take a sip right now.
Well, we got a lot of things on the agenda for the evening. Everybody's starting to well, not everybody's starting, but the complaining about the Epstein Files not being dropped has escalated over on X. More and more people are beginning to ask the question, what's going on with them? At this point, I'm not holding my breath, and when they drop, maybe we'll besides after today's show, when they drop, that's when we'll talk about them. I'm not falling for any more announcements, speculation, any of that crap. We're just going to wait till they're out, and then we'll react and talk about it or whatever. But don't think it's going to happen, to be honest with you. Like Mad News Now says, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up. Share this channel, this show, with everybody you know. Send it to your group chat. Tell everybody to give us at least 10 minutes to win you over. All that good stuff. But which I appreciate. And I'm sure Atlas does as well. We're trying to get Atlas over 1,000 subs. So I believe he needs 35 when I checked yesterday. So he's around that number to get to that 1,000 sub mark.
So close, man.
Yeah, getting close. It's inching closer by the show, but still not there yet. So appreciate everybody that is subscribed. And we have this bombshell discovery of Joe Biden's presidency. There's rumors circulating that we'll get into about his pardons not being actually legal, among some other things. What's her name? Anna Paulina Luna and AOC propose a credit card rate cap, which Anna Paulina Luna announces a lot of things that don't come to fruition. I like her, but unfortunately, she says a lot of stuff on X, and I feel like she's out there. I'm sure she's monetized on X, and I feel like she's almost kind of clickbaiting at times. And it goes all the way back to the AG Merrick Garland was supposed to be arrested for his contempt of Congress and withholding the transcript of Joe Biden's meeting with Robert Hur over his special counsel with his eligibility to stand trial for the what's it called, classified documents that he kept in his garage amongst other places as well when he back before he was president, when he wasn't even supposed to have any of those from his time in the Senate, essentially. We got let's see here.
That one I'm curious about, though, the credit card. I'm very curious. I feel like there's a lot of support behind it, but I don't think people are ready for the fact that it's probably going to cut a big chunk of people out from ever being able to get a credit card.
Oh yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out. We're going to have to look into it, dig into it a little bit further. But you know, I got some credit card debt out there. I'd like for my interest rate to be capped out lower than what it is. That type of stuff. Those of you that have been in credit card debt before, you know how it is. It's can be a vicious cycle of paying money for nothing. Destiny makes an outrageous comment regarding the special secret service, honorary secret service, the little kid that has survived brain cancer, DJ Daniel, that Trump, announced and pointed out and lifted up on his last. It wasn't a.
It was the Congress address.
Yeah, address to Congress. It wasn't what's it called when they address the nation? State of the nation.
State of the Union.
State of the Union. Okay, yeah, thanks. People have been calling it State of the Union. It's not. It wasn't that. It was an address to Congress. Bunch of other things. Christians being slaughtered in Syria. Viral California husband shouldn't have been there in the first place. Fire captain murdered by her controlling wife. I haven't even seen that. When did you add that to the outline? Was that last minute?
no, earlier today I actually saw it from iHypocrite.
Oh, my eyes must have scanned it.
Had me follow. But yeah,
gotcha.
That person we literally made fun of a couple of shows ago when she had talked about, if your husband ends up in a wildfire during all that California fire stuff. Read into the story a little bit. Apparently, who that lesbian was married to actually had previously been married to a man who she also murdered.
Oh goodness!
She was actually a fugitive.
Black widow.
Right. She got like a 10-year manslaughter sentence. There's video recording as well. The unfortunate part is obviously you don't want anybody to die. But that lesbian fire chief who mocked all men and husbands who might have been in a wildfire, one of her last words was, "Please, please don't kill me." And then her life was taken. Her life was taken.
Dang, crazy. Let's see. What did I miss? Chris said, talk to Fluffy. Oh, okay. Fluffy's one of his cats. I thought that was a question about the chicken, Fluffy chicken. Okay. I'm caught up to speed now. Yeah, just so you guys know, Mad News Now has a channel as well. Go check him out. So does Chris. We like to help each other out around here. So appreciate you guys for being here as well. But let's see. Which one do we want to get into first? I guess we'll talk about these Epstein files a little bit. Okay, let me add that to the stage. Oh, wait. StreamYard started a new thing where they're making me remove from the stage before I add to the stage. You used to just be able to add and it would just override what was already in there. So that's a little bit different. Guys, let me know also if you're subscribed and you have your notifications turned on, which you should be. Let me know if you got the notification for this show. My second account that I use to kind of monitor that type of stuff didn't get the notification. And so I'm beginning to wonder if the channel might be shadow banned a little bit. I hate to say that. I don't believe that YouTube actually shadow bans. But one of my recent videos was, without getting into like the nitty gritty and the analytics, it was performing way better than one of my normal videos, essentially, but it never caught the algorithm. So it makes me start questioning what's going on with the channel, which sucks. And I've been losing some subscribers lately, but I haven't been posting daily as well, like we were talking about earlier in the Discord. But I would like to know if you guys got that notification. House says he got it this time. Okay. All right. So it is at least going out to some folks. It just didn't go to me for whatever reason.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. I got yours. I got the live one on my phone.
Okay.
I only get the lives though for you. I don't get anything like on YouTube occasionally we'll push a video out.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Chris said he got both the notifications. Okay. Appreciate that feedback, you guys. D Gulag is in the house. How you doing, bud? You have to click all. Yeah, you have to click all in the notifications. Let's see here. Tick says it doesn't even show us as live in the sidebar thing. You have to go to subscriptions or it's in my feed. Huh. Weird. I guess it's a little bit mixed bag for everybody, but anyways, appreciate that feedback. So the Epstein Files partial release prompts transparency debate. Attorney General Pam Bondi has announced the release of additional Jeffrey Epstein files. Oh, looking forward to that, right? Though these documents will be redacted to protect confidential information, despite the release, public demand continues for a full unredacted disclosure amid ongoing debates about transparency and alleged cover-ups. Bondi has criticized the FBI for withholding documents, seeking full disclosure by this morning. That was last updated 9 hours ago. And, Gunther Eagleman has a good point here. He says Pam Bondi's political career is now based on releasing the Epstein documents. The quicker she gets it out, the better off she will be, which I 100% agree. Hodge Twins posted a poll, and they asked the question, do you trust Pam Bondi? If no, explain why. Well, I'm not going to explain why, but I'm clicking no for right now, right? You guys agree with that in chat? Let me know. You guys agree with no, or should it be yes? Because when you consider that she was the AG of Florida when the initial arrests came out and happened surrounding Jeffrey Epstein and all that, we saw what we got out of that, right? Nothing. Right. And so, Jeffrey Epstein is dead, to quote Bill Gates. So why are they trying to now? Yeah. So why are they trying to protect him? Well, it's not that they're trying to protect him. They're trying to protect the clients, which, pretty messed up. Tix Bomber says she's iffy. Shows I don't know. Right now I trust her all the way up until this scenario presented itself, and she failed us with this first release. I do tend to believe that she was kind of talking crap and said, well, I got the files on my desk. And then everybody immediately expected, something to come of that. And we saw what happened, but I don't know. If that's the case, she needs to bite her tongue at times. What was that?
I don't trust her. I honestly just think you're a simp if you trust her at this point. And Kash Patel too, for that matter. I think both of their careers actually are pretty heavily lie on this as well. I think one of the things that I saw, maybe it was Laura Loomer who had said this, I can't remember now. What should be done now at this point is actually, instead of actually just attacking Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, go right to Trump. Go right to Trump and say, man, we can't believe he started having bad picks again. This is 2016 all over again. Start doing that. Start acting as now like, we'll give the flag to Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. But actually, you know what? I'm kind of mad at Trump for even picking this woman in the first place. And then start getting Trump to have it be like, this is going to reflect on you now. Not just Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, but like these were your picks, right? You did this whole whip-waws and woozah and didn't get Matt Gaetz in there. Matt Gaetz would have had the files out. And there's already kind of a very popular viral clip from, I can't remember how long ago, it's like almost 6, 7, 8 months ago, where Matt Gaetz even had alluded to the fact of the matter of why the Epstein files probably more than likely just don't get released in full was because he thinks there are foreign influences that are being protected of such. And so I think that played a big role into the fact that they weren't going to give him the reins in the first place. It was kind of a bit of a show. But yeah, I don't trust her at all. When you say 8 a.m. to the American people, and you also say again, and previously to that, they're on my desk. Let me put it more simply for you. I just don't trust you to do your job now at this point. Whether I trust you at what you're saying, what you thought was true, don't really care anymore. It's the fact that you said to everybody on a live television show, I think it was Fox News, I have the files on my desk. And I've seen some things in there. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like, it's just a joke now. It's like, just get out. There's way better people, more qualified people who can handle that position. Shouldn't be there in the first place. Yeah,
Mad News now mentions that Gaetz could come back. I would love to see that. Everybody else got confirmed in Trump's cabinet appointees. Bring back Gaetz. I think now that we have hindsight being 2020, Gaetz probably would have been confirmed, and that's just me speculating, but I see that TNT mentioned people that think it should have been released before it was vetted or retarded. I kind of agree with that. Like, you have to at least read over what you're putting out there, but it just becomes less trustworthy. The longer they hold on to it, the more they redact. I don't know, man. It's they work for the American tax people, and I think it's a general consensus. And we can tell by this, this is a small portion of America, but 66,450 people voted. There's 16 hours left, and I reposted that if you guys want to vote on this poll as well from the Hodge twins. But 58.2% of them said no, they don't trust Pam Bondi. So this is a a big, pivotal situation, that's basically going to reflect on her career as AG so far. And yes,
Right.
I do, D Gulag, I agree. Also Archie Cunningham, what's up, dude? Good to see you. I believe she isn't getting all the info, and we know that she wasn't getting all the info because the New York FBI office, whatever it's called, was definitely holding back some of that information.
Well, just think about that, right?
Steve said this
I'm
this
the I'm
cabinet
the
made
attorney, I'm the attorney general. Oh, these people who work under me won't do the job I told them to do. Oh, woe is me. Like, what are we gonna do about it, guys? Like, what are you effing talking about? You're the attorney general. Cash Patel works underneath you even to top it off. What are
Mhm.
either of you doing? Go into that goddamn office and get those files out. Fire everybody who's involved. This is the
Yeah.
whole point. This is the kind of like the narrative that like that gets people who don't understand like basic operations, right? It's like they are both in charge of these people. They have full authority to be able to go in there and fire those people immediately. And here's the thing, and here's what I would actually do, because I wouldn't give a single F about it. I'd fire everyone in that entire department. Be like, hey, sorry guys, I don't even care if there's only 3 of you who are messing with these files. Every person in the department entirely cleaned out. I'm going to hire people immediately to go in there and get that stuff taken care of. Because
Yeah.
otherwise it makes me question, what is your level of conviction, your level of willingness to do something about it. And then
Yeah.
secondly, too, the she's not one of our guys, right? Pam Bondi has a history before this too that I think is pretty much, very untrustworthy.
Yeah, we
Um,
critiqued her pretty heavy whenever Trump first appointed her, and we went through and did our ratings. I can't
Right.
remember. We should try to dig that up and review, first couple months of performance or first month of performance or whatever it is at that point when we review it and see how our initial gradings are kind of turning out right or wrong. I will say, just side note, Marco Rubio seems to be outperforming everybody's expectations, at least to this point.
TNT, could you highlight which channels Pam Bondi would have to go through to fire people that works underneath her? It's laid out pretty well. If you did just a slight bit of Google search, and I hate to call you out like that, but you're someone who's pretty dense on this subject in particular. Just go look at James O'Keefe, go look at Gunther Eagleman. Plenty of people now have blatantly pointed out to the fact of why is actually the firings not occurring. Why is the level actually the fact that the only thing being floated out is you're going to fire these people? If we know damn near 99% percentile that these people are now they're child rapists, right? Directing human trafficking, there needs to be worse sentences than you just lose your job for protecting these people. This is a matter of like, oh well, here and here. It's like a matter of like this is good versus evil. And the FBI is her department. The FBI falls under her jurisdiction.
Yeah, well, that would be on Kash Patel and her and Trump. I mean, I think I don't know. I think that it's part of the mandate that we set when we elected Trump that we kind of thought that through the process that he was going to appoint somebody to the leader of FBI and to AG parts of his cabinet that were going to get us the results that we're kind of demanding. And you know what? The thing about this, the only reason why we're talking about it right now is because Pam Bondi opened her mouth in the first place, right? If she wouldn't have come out and said that they're on my desk, we could all just still be waiting, saying, we're trusting the process. Trump has a lot on his table. He's getting a lot done. We trust Trump. We trust, what's going on. But instead she came out and she opened her mouth and she got us focused on it. She's the one that did it. So right. I don't expect these people to be perfect, but at some point, I mean, it's like everybody knows that there's people being protected, and maybe it's a collected effort against people protecting each other in the FBI. Cassius came in and they're well, I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was. And then it's really hard to just pinpoint people. But I mean, if you got a file, a room full of files and videos and stuff like that, it should be pretty obvious. And we want people to be held accountable for the crimes they committed. And it's what's actually, as I said that, I'm wondering, is that island actually considered was Epstein Island, was that considered United States jurisdiction, or was that in international waters? I wonder if there's some type of red tape that comes with that, where it's like, well, we can't really prosecute him under U.S. law because it was out of U.S. waters or out of our jurisdiction. I know it's not a part of, well, maybe it is. I'm not sure, but I just,
Virgin Islands. I just double checked.
it is. Okay. So, that just came to mind, and it's like, okay, well, maybe there's some extra issues when it comes to that. But the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell is sitting in jail for doing this, the fact that Epstein didn't Epstein himself or whatever, is it, what it is. There's a lot to be discovered here. And I think there's the perpetrators of the crimes are being protected for whatever reason. JC says, no, I don't trust Pam. Her first day or so, she was in President Trump's ear trying to set up a new and improved red flag law. Nope, just don't trust her at all. Yeah, and she was pro red flag laws when she was the person in Florida. And so that was one of our big critiques of her when Trump first appointed her. And obviously we don't agree with red flag laws. That's definitely unconstitutional in my opinion. Right. Mad News Now brings up the concept or the idea that maybe Pam is being threatened. We don't know. And these are all fair speculation. I don't know, man. Like, it's to the point where, like I said, after this show, I'm really not going to want to talk about it unless some information actually comes out, or you know what I mean? Because I'm just tired of being strung along. Anna Paulina Luna does it. Pam Bondi did it with this instance. And Kash Patel's been kind of quiet since he's been appointed to, or since he's been confirmed.
Well, you look back and it's been a joke every single time. Every single thing that I pointed out before leading up to this as well, right? I pointed out on the day when we got the executive order, I pointed out the fact that why is every other executive order explicit and direct? This one is like, we're going to get a plan to present the documents. It wasn't actually like an executive order to actually release them. Next thing we get is a task force, because now we have to have people that specifically like handle these things, where everything else is getting very direct, getting done very quickly. Then obviously this debacle as well too. And I would just like to point out, how long ago was it? Like a week or two ago, when we had a presidential buyout. We were buying out all these CIA agents. You can sign up, you're gone.
Eight months of
severance, right?
8 months of severance.
So it shows like there's political willpower. If they want to fire people and get them out of there, like they can do that. This is a very easy thing to get accomplished. These aren't elected officials. They have the channels are no different. And in fact, the government, it should be much quicker than what it would work in a private setting as well. I understand like the status quo is that things move slowly, but that's because we're getting used to the fact that our government like hardly works for us, and most of the system is just a gummed up piece of trash. But it shows like with the CIA thing, right? That was an easy way to get a lot of people out of there. The biggest thing people had with that was the fact that a lot of these people probably should be getting tried for crimes, but at least they'll take the fact that they'll get bounced out. They'll take the fact that like, okay, at least they're not there anymore. Right. There's easy ways you can do that too. So whichever way is more politically expedient would have been the option I would have taken. But now we're at 2 weeks now since it's been supposedly said that we would be having them out. So it's like, yeah, I don't trust any of it anymore, especially not people who had binders that read most transparent administration ever. It's like all of this just seems like a song and dance now.
It's a psyop almost on the American people. To something. I don't know, man. I all I can say is I'm losing my faith, if I ever had any, in Pam Bondi, to do, what, she becoming the Amy Coney Barrett of Trump's appointees. You know what I mean? She seems to vote against Trump as often as possible.
Well, that's why I also bring up Kash Patel too. And I'm the guy who always rags on women. He's like, he needs to be getting attacked just as much as she is too.
Yeah.
Especially being in there as the head of the FBI as well now. Now, one thing I will point out is Dan Bongino doesn't become deputy director until March 17th. So he kind of gets a little bit of a pass there. But the other two is like, what is going on? Especially because we got promises from both of them. Kash Patel said 24 hours from when he would get confirmed, he would be doing it.
Right.
It's just, again, very, very similar kind of political promises, but nothing in hand.
Right. And granted, saying it as an outsider versus doing it once you're confirmed, you probably learn a lot of stuff. But of why it can't come out so quickly and everything like that. And I floated last show or last time we talked about it that maybe there's these people that are on the list that are making phone calls with their lawyers and saying, hey, look, if you look at all, yeah, I did go, but or had I gone or whatever, think about all the good that I've done and that all ends, leverage. And also the other factor that I think is actually the main factor in this whole thing is the power. They give up a lot of power in the FBI and in the American government, essentially, if they expose all these people to the American folks, right? To the American population and the world, really frankly, because right now these people are controllable. They have, blackmail on these folks. And if they just give it all up, then all of that power essentially goes away. And
Right.
so I don't know. It's
I think
dirty.
you're right about that.
It's
I
dirty.
Well, go ahead.
Go
My bad. I don't want to cut you
I
off.
was just going to say it's dirty, and I don't agree with that way of thinking, because I mean we're talking about crimes against young ones and even adults as well that are made to do things that we don't even know of. We don't know the extent of what happened there, and only thing we do know is somebody's in jail for trafficking these individuals, and Jeffrey Epstein was in prison or in jail for what he did, up until when he left this planet.
I
Supposedly.
would just like to take this moment in time to blame Donnie. Donnie was who convinced me to vote for Trump. I regret every ounce of it right now.
Well, it's not like you were going to go and vote for Kamala Harris. Like, get real. Like,
No, it was either vote for Trump or don't even participate. That was kind of where I was. My mindset was at.
right.
I wasn't
But
going to
still,
go full accelerationist, right? And go vote for what was her name? Brat, right?
go vote.
This
Vote
is
for
my
Jill
thing, though.
Stein.
That was my fear the whole time, because everyone was trying to convince me otherwise, right? And I get it was more pragmatically expedient, right? And I think there's good things that Trump has done. Don't get me wrong. I think it's all bad. But my biggest fear was this. My biggest fear was that it would operate as a Trojan horse based on some of the very, very more kind of evil sides of the establishment of what we're getting to. That's why it's like, it just sucks. It's just like, I was hoping I would get proved wrong, right? Like I was sitting here being like, please prove me wrong. Please make me look like a big black pillar. Please make me look like I'm this radical idiot. And boom, no, and here we are. And it's like, oh, dude, I just had like the worst feeling about that as well. And I would say too, especially in such a time period politically right now, at least what we can see on X, the kind of sentiments that we have kind of gotten from the main group, right, the main dissident right, and the right in itself is a lot more people are speaking up about things that YouTube doesn't like when it relates to Ben Shapiro and such, and things like the Daily Wire. And I think now at this point where it's such a bad time that if there is things that relate to that in the Epstein Files, such as like what Ian Carroll would lay out relating to foreign intelligence agencies, it would be like the most, it'd be gasoline on a wildfire. And then I think that's maybe probably in my belief, is why they're holding back as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, and this point from Archie Cunningham, I would say take their time and make sure everything they can prosecute sticks and doesn't get thrown out. That is a big one, because how pissed off would we all be if we actually literally know that, they announced this person was there and did some things, and then, it gets thrown out in court because they announced it or something like that. That's definitely not something that we would like to happen or want to see happen. Although it would destroy that person's reputation, and everybody in public would disassociate themselves with this person, in theory, at least for a while, and isolate them. That's almost as bad as being held accountable and thrown in jail. Almost, but not really. Like, if people stop doing business with these folks buying their products, I don't know. It's like I said, I'm kind of over this whole.
Yeah, TBD.
Yeah. And I do agree that, good things come to those that wait. I do feel like we've been waiting a long time. It's been over, 4, 5, 6 years at this point. Although Trump's DOJ and AG Barr and all these people, we're not really good people. They weren't really working for the American citizens and stuff like that. So this time around, we have high expectations, and maybe Trump's pace has got us, even having higher expectations. What's up, JB? By the way, hi, Earl's daughter. I didn't say hi to you when you came in. apologize if I missed anybody else, but wait and see. Trump does have 4 years. And right now it's looking like the Republicans are going to win the midterm in a couple of years because the Democrats just are completely lost touch. They all started singing the other day when they censured Al Green in Congress. It's just like these people are just living in their own little cultish world and they have no idea what the hell they're doing. I'm sure a lot of the constituents, the voting public, lost faith in these folks when they realized that, censoring Al Green really doesn't even do anything to them. But yet they're up there singing, trying to, do exactly what he did during Trump's speech, which is hold up Congress, right? They have no respect
right now, too. Right?
Yeah.
There's like who do they even have, right? They have AOC who's like gets memed out because they're like talking about how they're going to milk her on the White House lawn. And then Gavin Newsom started a podcast as a way to kind of like build a little bit of social clout back up. I mean, they have nobody, and like there's a good thing
David Hogg is one of the leaders of the.
Oh God, dude!
You know what I'm saying?
Such a joke, though.
Like they're out there, they voted against no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. The Democrats are the party of higher taxation. They're the party of, must defeat Russia at all costs. Although we are not at war with Russia, it's one thing after another, and none of these things that they are siding with, the American people agree with. Really, we just proved it in the last election when 77 million or whatever it was people voted for Donald Trump.
Right?
That's crazy that they would just double and triple and quadruple down the way that they have, and even gone another step further and just blatantly say no, we're not going with Trump no matter what. Like, yeah, you guys have been saying TDS for 8 years now, but we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to do it again. Right. And not only that, we're going to have EDS when it comes to Elon derangement syndrome and just make it that much worse. Right. It's crazy.
I wish it wasn't the case. And my fear ultimately, though, is the kind of backlash that we would face, say the left does get in after this Trump presidency. So that's why it's kind of, to me, it's like, we're very, very far behind. But, not even just like the Epstein stuff, but we look at some more pragmatic things. Where's the mass deportations at? That I think that's like fallen almost out of the news cycle entirely. It's like, to me, some of the more important things that I was looking forward to, we're not getting. And to be quite frank, like to me, it's just like overall, just like kind of sad. It's like we're like, I get the clapping because we're getting rid of this transgender stuff, but it's like now we just moved to like a more basic standpoint. Like now we just got to where every other human civilization has been since the last 2,000 years besides us, right? Which is there's men and women, and if that's as far as we can climb back in terms of how we can go on the offensive and such, it's like, then what is it really for? Because we know how hard the left is going to go to bat if they do get power back in. And like, that's what I would like to avoid. That means we have to go and start gaining ground, not just be happy with clawing back what should have never been lost in the first place. But how do we then begin to set these things in stone even further out?
Right. And then let's see here. Archie Cunningham says, hopefully they are. Hope they're just getting things in place. I'm optimistic. LOL. I am optimistic too. I don't mean to come off sounding negative. I'm just tired of this. The Trump's first term, this big Q thing, right? And it was always, it's happening. It's right around the corner. And it's just, they drug people along so bad with this whole, it's about to happen. It's happening. I mean, it just got so old and annoying, and I'm seeing like a new version of it right now. And so it's just like Pam Bondi really did this to herself. Like I said, she should have just not mentioned it and allowed things to happen naturally when they were ready for it. But they messed up, and she messed that up. And maybe these people should stop doing appearances on Fox and every other place that they go on, right? Like, if you're going to say stuff like that, just don't go on and do these stupid interviews. Just do your job. You can post all the information that you want to post straight to X. We don't need Fox. Most of us aren't even watching Fox anyways. They lost so many of their viewers during the 2020 election when they called Arizona, and only 1% of people has had been turned in for being voted or counted or whatever it was.
Right. How about she just goes back in the kitchen? Just get the F out, man.
I knew you were gonna say that, right? No.
Yeah. Her and Chrissy know both while we're at it.
Right. Yeah, there's still rhinos in the bunch, that's for sure. And we lost Matt Gaetz out of that. So we took a hit on the MAGA count, the America First count, when Matt Gaetz just completely decided that he was going to go and chase the money and have a TV show on a show that nobody watches, right? It's pretty weird that he decided to do that. And Mad News Now said maybe he can still be, Pam Bondi might be the first one Trump fires.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I saw a thread, man. It's been a little while since I've seen it. But I saw a thread that Matt Gaetz was possibly blackmailed and a forced exit out of politics, based on something that happened way earlier in his life, almost like 15 or 20 years ago now at this point.
Well, I think they've been trying to put that on him since Trump was in the first time.
So the minor thing was like a cover up of like what the actual story is. It's been so long, and if I can find it, maybe House probably has a better idea of what I'm talking about.
I think I remember them saying something about they blackmailed his dad first or his family or something like that at first, and it's this long, situation or whatever. But
and there was it was like with foreign influence as well too. There was like a couple other international countries like involved, and if I'm forgetting, it was his dad and like a couple other key figures in there too. Ultimately, it was like he became like the fall guy for it.
Yeah, I gotcha. 17-year-old woman is what House says. Archie Cunningham says the victims need justice, and that's the bottom line. That's why I care so much. The victims are still out there, and they haven't seen justice. And frankly, assumingly, the people that committed these crimes are still free and walking around, and so that's not a good place to be. If you're a victim of that type of thing, you'd like your assailant to be locked up where you can feel a little bit safer in the world that you're living in, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Just don't jinx us. Steve says all these Republicans talked a mean game to get our vote. We gave them what they needed. We need swift results. Yeah, I mean, it's just a bummer. I totally understand the chain of command where, like you were saying, Atlas, that Cash should be able to just fire these people. It's like, hey, I want this. And if they say no, or if they drag their feet, how many chances are you going to give these people? And why did these people in the FBI have anything to protect and as it relates to Epstein? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but it just is what it is. And I think at this point, we're kind of just going to continue to go in circles. So unless you have anything else, let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, well, this is something that we know a bit more about. We were going to go to like what the bombshell story from Zero Hedge with Joe Biden or Joe Biden's presidency.
Yeah, let's do that.
The pardons there too.
Okay, yeah, let's do that for sure. We'll just we'll revisit the whole Epstein thing when it happens, and that's pretty much all we can do. It's all speculation, and
I hope I live that long.
Right now, Pam Bondi, that's her political career. It hinges on that. Same with Kash Patel. So if they want to change our minds, it's on them. Let's do it different. Okay, there we go. So this is from Zero Hedge. Could a bombshell discovery render all of Biden's presidential actions null and void? The Biden presidency might have been the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the American people. A shocking investigation by the Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project has revealed that virtually every document bearing Joe Biden's signature during his presidency was signed by an autopen, except for one. That's crazy. Was he using dot loop? He's using dot loop to sign all of his documents.
Yeah, jot form, e-sign. Yeah. Well, I read this whole thing earlier. The one thing that he didn't use an auto pen for was when he had signed that letter withdrawing from the presidency or the candidacy in 2024. So it's like, of all the things, the only thing that we know that he actually physically signed was that withdrawal letter.
Crazy. Was
Right.
the Afghanistan withdrawal, you said?
No, the withdrawal from his kid. So remember when there's like that weird back and forth moment, and then he announced that he was no longer going to run, then he was going to let Kamala do it
Oh,
for this last election.
yeah.
That's the only thing that they know that's been from. It's what per Zero Hedge there.
Oh, that's
Um,
funny. Okay.
right. So that's like the little only thing we know he didn't sign with autopen.
That's funny. So Steve Splenda says, sorry if I sound like a black-pilled negative Nancy, just frustrated. Hey, man, we're all right there with you, brother. And it's just one of those things where you throw
No
your
one's
hands
more
up in the
black-pilled
air
than
and
me.
say, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Elon's getting all the hate now. Yeah. Made just me laugh there. I hope I live that long. What's up, just me?
Yeah. Yeah, when I'm 89 years old and I'm like, all I want to see is the files and I'll go.
Yeah. Right.
I ain't getting buried until I see what Epstein did.
TNT says, I wonder if Hunter's pardon was him or autopen. Mad News points out not even 60 days yet. That's true. There's plenty of time. Although every day the deportations aren't ramped up means they have to deport more every day after that. The average goes up, which that's the other thing that those are basically the two biggest critiques I have of Trump so far is the mass deportations haven't and aren't happening fast enough. And then this whole Epstein file debacle, as well as the JFK kind of stuff, and some of this information, I want to know what's up with 9/11, to be honest with you, more than JFK or MLK or some of these other ones. But
Right. I want to know all of them. The main ones for me is obviously Epstein. It's like the most important one, but like I think the 9/11 Commission report, I think is going to be a very significant one to have as well.
right, they just need to learn from this lesson and just not talk about it until they can put the information out for the American people.
Right.
So continuing here, it says, what makes this revelation particularly damning is that the only document confirmed to have Biden's actual signature was his letter announcing his withdrawal from the 2024 presidential race. That's what you said. Remember when Speaker Mike Johnson revealed his discussion with Biden when Biden couldn't recall signing the executive order halting LNG exports? Now we know why. He probably didn't. The real question is who did? Who was running the country while Biden was not all there? And remember this too, that the mainstream media was telling us that he was, I can never think of the exact quote, but they're all basically telling us that he was fine and dandy, right? And we all know from George Carlin that nobody is ever actually fine and dandy. You're either fine or you're dandy, but you're never both. And if you ever are fine and dandy, nobody ever asks you how you're doing. But
Yeah. Well, the good thing with this though too, someone who's I've been like very impressed with as well. Now you're a bit more familiar with him than I am, but this would be Andrew Bailey. So he's the Missouri AG.
oh, I love Andrew Bailey. This guy is crushing it, dude. I would like to see him replace Pam Bondi, to be honest with you, dude.
Well, that would be sick. I would actually appreciate that. But it was like news to me when I'd first heard of him. But like he was like the only AG like 3 years into Biden's presidency that had actually like filed anything against the Biden administration, which is insane to think about.
Right.
But he's currently leading the charge on all of these autopen stuff. So he's trying to seek out how you can constitutionally override and void as much as he possibly can via the auto sign signature there. And it's a crazy story too, because, and I can remember the exact way that it happened, but I think it was like a redistricting of like something there in Missouri actually led to him getting into office. He wasn't elected.
Yeah.
He kind of like fell into power because
he was reelected though in this last term.
Okay.
I believe Jamie said she got to vote for him.
Okay.
But yeah, originally when he was originally inserted, and you're right, it was something about redistricting, and it's funny because that was a backfire from the previous Democrat-led administration for Missouri. They had set it up that way, and then it ended up backfiring on them and got Andrew Bailey into that position. And this dude, I've talked about him before on the show, and I don't know if you'd heard about him before, but you might have heard about him before that. But I was pointing out that he was challenging Letitia James in the
or the New York case.
The New York case over the over Trump being the gag order that he had. And so that he could, because Trump was on the campaign trail and they had this gag order that he couldn't talk about what was going on with the New York case. And Andrew Bailey was basically saying that his, because he represents Missouri. So everything that he does is like representing the citizens of Missouri. But he was saying that when Trump comes to Missouri and speaks and does his rallies, the Missouri citizens, the Missourians or whatever they're called, I think it's Missourians. I was born in Missouri. I can't think of it. I was raised in Kansas, but they deserve. It was an infringement of their First Amendment to not hear Trump, in his full, basically it was an infringement on their First Amendment. Oh, I'm sorry, girl. Just kicked my dog in the face. She was not even fazed by it, so thankfully. But so he was out there making the case. He's been battling for a lot of great topics. I actually just saw on X. He's an excellent follow on X as well. I just saw it this afternoon, and it wasn't part of our agenda, so I decided to leave it out. But I wish I would have just put it in as a side note, because he just did something else that was pretty awesome. I'm gonna look him up real fast because I'm sure it's at the.
Yeah, well, I just thought the great story about him was the fact that he was talking about how he's at work, whatever his position that he had, and then they walked in, a group of people walked in, and they're like, "Hey, man, you're Attorney General now. Now, if you don't want to be, we can file some paperwork and we go down the line. But you're you're the AG now, man." He was like, "What? Like, what is happening?" That's a good story.
Yeah, that's funny. Tix Bomber says Daisy is now special. Daisy's in the other room. This one's Parker, and I think she's pregnant. I think I got a pregnant dog, but
that's why you kicked her. All right, George Floyd.
But this one right here, I'm gonna derail this Biden thing real quick because we're talking about Andrew Bailey, and this is awesome. Let me make it bigger. He just posted this 5 hours ago, but Attorney General Andrew Bailey, $24 billion, not won or whatever the Chinese money is. He just declared, "Hey, China, you owe Missouri $24 billion. I just wanted judgment in court. Pay up or we start seizing assets and farmland." I mean, this is big time, in my opinion. I don't want to get too far into it because I just read some headlines and stuff like that. But I know China buying American farmland has been a hot topic for a few years now. And I think it'd be fantastic if he would just start freaking seizing the Chinese farmland in Missouri, saying, "Hey, look, you owe us $24 billion. I don't know what the judgment was for, but I guess I'll click on this Fox News article and we'll find out." Not trying to derail too much on the Biden topic. We'll get back into that here in a second. But Missouri wins $24 billion judgment against China in COVID lawsuit. The ruling comes 5 years after the former Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt filed the original lawsuit in 2020. Okay. So that's continuation. The federal judge on Friday ruled in favor of Missouri in the state's $24 billion lawsuit against China's Communist Party that accused it of hoarding protective supplies during the coronavirus pandemic. This is a landmark victory for Missouri and the United States in the fight to hold China accountable for unleashing COVID-19 on the world, Attorney General Andrew Bailey said in a statement. China refused to show up to court, but that doesn't mean they get away with causing untold suffering and economic devastation. We intend to collect every penny by seizing Chinese-owned assets, including Missouri farmland, Bailey's office said. The judgment was 6 times larger than the previous largest judgment in the state's history. So this is fantastic, and I think every single state should follow suit. If they don't, I'm going to start accusing them of being Chinese communist sympathists, right?
Right. Yeah.
This would be great. I love that a state actually did that. I mean, that's how our republic is supposed to function, and I think that's awesome. I think Andrew Bailey gets it. And, I hope that at some point he replaces Pam Bondi as the United States Attorney General, although that'd be a big loss for Missouri. This nation needs this dude in a bigger role.
Oh, right. Exactly. Well, I think it sets a great precedent too. Especially if it was, if it's over COVID. I think China owes not only just us, but probably the rest of the world a lot more than just $24 billion.
True.
If you were to put a price on the lives lost, based on their role that they played in COVID, But yeah, no, it's actually great that we have at least somebody, right?
Yeah.
See, government employees, how many people is it? Almost 1 million federal employees.
Right.
At least one person does work. like there's one guy in there who's like doing something. It's insane. But yeah, that's a great start actually.
Right.
But I was going to say this too before we bounced over here as well.
Okay.
I think this is kind of like a bit more hard confirmation with the zero hedge story, with the Biden autopen situation, which was what we had been thinking, which is who's running the show, because it's not Biden.
Right.
Obviously, there's like the back and forth of like, look at this Biden. This Biden's different. This is Biden 2.0. Like, look, there's two different Bidens they're putting up there. I think you can get a bit far fetched in that, and then maybe there's a bit of truth to there too. But the reality is like a lot of unelected bureaucrats, handlers, aide, staffers were probably making the decisions for the country more so than the president or anyone elected was making a decision for the country. And I think on that all of it alone, autopen should have an easy kind of verification or chain of custody, or at least an easy
for
way you
real.
can actually verify it, right? When it was signed.
Yeah.
who
What
it was
account
signed
signed
by,
it?
right? And then be able to look at too, like where was Biden at, right? Like where was Biden at when this got signed?
True.
You can pinpoint to something getting signed in the White House on a specific iPad or iPod or computer, but Biden's like in Delaware. It's like, okay, that's voidable. It's like now we have some at least circumstantial evidence that he was not president at the time when this was signed. Immediately void that. So I hope we can see some of that stuff too.
Earl's daughter has to dip out. Said goodnight, y'all. Sorry I have to go. Have the grandchildren, grandbabies tonight, and it's bedtime. Sweet dreams. Hey, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you like every time. Go take care of those little ones, and we'll see you. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, take it easy.
Let's see here. I think I saw in the chat too that the Chinese Communist Party shouldn't even own land in the first place, so we should just seize it anyways and not knock that off of the $24 billion debt. But whatever justification we have to use to take that land back, I'm down for. But yeah, I think we should take the land back and still charge them the $24 billion in my opinion. But
I'd go even a step further. I'd say if you were born in China, you're going too. Get out. You like the Land O'Lake thing, right? Take the land, but take her off of it. Keep the land, take her off of it. With the Land O'Lake butter, when the all the different brands, when it was like Land O'Lake, Aunt Jemima. There's another bigger one too, Uncle Ben's. All of them just like changed their logo to something entirely more plain and generic and got rid of all the people. Land O'Lakes was funny because they didn't even change the logo much. They just took the Indian girl off of it.
Yeah.
So it's like we kept the land, we kicked her out. Yeah, very funny.
That is funny. So yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna skip down a little bit. Actually, let's read some backstory. The use of the presidential auto pen dates back to the 1950s. And there's been much debate about its legality. In 2013, Obama became the first president to sign a bill into law using an auto pen. He was vacated. Oh, so that's interesting. Barack Obama, we know, is quoted for saying that he would love to continue to be the president and operate from his basement and have everybody else basically be the front man. So the fact that he's the first person to use auto pen and then this situation arise with the auto pen is an interesting connection, right? We'll say that. But his office
with that, I had actually read a little bit about that one in 2013. It was like an emergency thing. And he was like in Hawaii or something. He was like way far away from where he needed to be, but they needed it signed like immediately. And there was some kind of like emergency authorization they'd use. I don't know if it was explicitly that or if they just said it because it was an emergency. That's why he decided to auto pen sign.
Husband, Steve. Husband.
Yeah.
But Obama's office relied on a 30-page memo from President George W. Bush's legal team asserting that the president's presence was not required as long as said president had authorized the signature. What's not clear in the case of Biden is who was running the auto pen and whether Biden was aware it was happening. And so that makes me I'm thinking at the same time when I'm reading this, and maybe they did use Biden's account, but just somebody else had the login information, so it might not be as easy to verify who it was that was that was doing this or whatever. But I think that the point that you brought up, that the timing of it, what was Biden doing? Was he asleep? Was it past noon when all these things were signed. I mean, that's a big red flag right there, because we know the dude was calling lids on the day at noon for like the last 2 years of his or more of his term. But Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey is demanding that the Department of Justice investigate whether Biden's obvious cognitive decline allowed unelected bureaucrats to essentially run the government without presidential oversight. If this is true, and let's be honest, all signs point to yes. So this is, I believe, an opinion piece, but every executive order, every pardon, and every official action taken under Biden's name could be constitutionally void. Bailey's letter to Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General of the Department of Justice, spells it out perfectly. I write to request that you conduct a full investigation into President Biden's mental capacity in his final days in office. By now, Biden's mental decline is famous. Under the 25th Amendment, his inability to make decisions should have meant a succession of power. Instead, it appears staffers and officers in the Biden administration may have exploited Biden's incapacity so they could use orders without an accountable president of sound mind approving them. That would explain why Biden administration's orders were aggressively much further to the left than any previous president. If in fact Biden's staffers were exploiting his mental decline, those orders are null and void. And so that would apply to the pardons and everything as well. So that would be like I put in the title, a bombshell, right? The evidence is overwhelming. We know that Biden's handlers desperately tried to prevent anyone from meeting with him one-on-one. Even Democratic insiders admit the truth. DNC fundraiser Lindy Lee recently spilled the beans and acknowledged that Biden wasn't running the show. His staff, his wife, and Hunter were. Lindy Lee, again in the news. We talk about her every once in a while. She's a huge fundraiser for the Democratic Party, raised tens of millions of dollars for the Democratic Party. And she feels jaded right now. She feels taken advantage of. And the left has turned their back on her. This lady, this woman, she's going to be raising money for the Republicans for a long time, where she's just going to bow out, in my opinion. I don't know how she could continue doing her job for the Democrats. If she does, it's just more confirmation that the Democratic Party is essentially a cult. The implications were staggering. We essentially had a presidency by proxy, with unelected staffers wielding presidential power while the man himself was barely cognizant. Is cognizant? I don't know. Enough to read a teleprompter. It isn't just a scandal. It's potentially the biggest constitutional crisis in American history. The American people deserve to know who was really calling the shots during the Biden administration. If these allegations prove true, every single action under Biden's name needs to be scrutinized and potentially nullified. Well, I think they're plenty scrutinized, but definitely agree with the nullified part. The truth must come out, and those responsible must be held accountable. Do you think the mainstream media will cover the explosive autopen scandal? Don't count on it, but JP Media won't back down from exposing the truth. And this is awesome. This is a big time news. And, if the Democrats were in charge and this was about Trump or something like that, they would act, right? They would start passing, what's it called? Introducing articles of impeachment so that they could do criminal charges against him and investigations. They'd be launching special counsels, expedited everything to look into this, right? And I hope that this is something that maybe Pam Bondi or Kash Patel or somebody prioritizes and investigates. There's a lot on their table. I get it, but this is definitely something that I think goes towards, up to the top 3 on the top 3 list of priority when it comes to their roles. One maybe being the Epstein, not one, but of the 3 deportations, the Epstein list, and then this, which at this point,
yeah,
where we stand on the Epstein list.
I wanted to say shout out to House for actually putting that in the Discord. For someone who looks at news every single day, and I look at the trends as well, who's posting about stuff quite a bit, can organize it by 800,000 posts about this, 80,000 posts about this. This was nowhere on X whatsoever, not in the trending sections. Didn't even see like any kind of like major account even quoting anything about it. So shout out to House for putting that in the Discord. Otherwise, I wouldn't even known it was a story. But also, again, shout out to Zero Hedge. But they even alluded to that in the article as well. Media is not going to cover about it. Media's like not even going to attempt to cover it, along with a few other things too. Especially what we're seeing with what's happening over in Syria as well. It's not getting as much coverage as it should be too. Media has their prerogatives as well, but I was kind of concerned that we didn't see even like a lot of like right wingers posting about it. I feel like it should be a lot bigger of a story than what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Bo knows. And then just me says Bo knows sports is the main line. I remember, but it was all kinds of things that Bo knows in a list that's always ran on commercials. Who's Bo? Is Bo Hunter Biden? Bo Biden, that's right. Okay. Yeah, right. So this is crazy, man. Let's see, what other notes do we have here? Yeah, who's running the White House? His handlers. I'm curious who you guys think it would have been. Is it just obviously Bo Jackson TNT? That was one of the coolest ad campaigns. Bo knows. Remember then they had Bo Diddley in the commercial and said Bo don't know Diddley, and it was Bo Diddley. I don't know. I don't even know who Bo Diddley is, but
that's funny. That one comment got me funny. It's Biden couldn't find the ocean, standing on the beach.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that too. As anyone, we've got
Biden couldn't find the floor, just fell on it.
I haven't seen him since he's been president, right? Like, where's he even been at? He made like one public showing, any kind of major thing, because otherwise I would expect people to be highlighting it. And I would imagine even at this point, if he's not on that cocktail that was swirling him up to keep him alive and upright, he's probably in really bad shape now.
Yeah. Well, they're probably, I assume, ever since the Trump Biden debate, I think they quit giving him the cocktail that was keeping him running. You know what I mean? They wanted him to bow out, so they're like, all right, well, start giving him the placebo.
Right. Get a sugar pill or something.
Right.
I wouldn't
remember he was showing up with like indentions on his face from his CPAP machine at like middle of the afternoon, like he'd been sleeping all day and stuff like that. Nothing against wearing a CPAP machine, but it was the timing of it. It's like, bro, they just rolled him out of bed to come talk. Like, give him at least a few more minutes. Good grief.
I think they're gonna I hate saying this, but just the shape he was in, and just knowing what you know about people who get pushed that far, I would not be surprised if we saw in the next year or two, Biden passes due to something or other, related to like medical conditions like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with you on that one as well, that he's not long for this world. We'll probably hear the next thing is that he's in hospice or something like that before too long. And, don't wish ill will on anybody, but his decline was just, as much as they try to hide it, it was still public enough where a lot of people didn't even know if he was going to make it through his presidency. And that was when he was elected. It's like, is this dude even going to make it through the 4 years? Which I think a lot of Democrats were maybe even hoping that was the case, because they wanted Kamala Harris to be the first, black woman president, which came in question if she was even black by the end there. But
yeah, one DEI hire to rule them all. Yeah, they'd have been really bad had she gotten in. Obviously with like not even just how it relates to like the trans stuff and all the kind of more basic social conservative stuff we fought back on. But I think that if Kamala was to get in, that would have been the last breath for the right wing.
Yeah,
I think just seeing knowing what we know now too, just how much ground the right wing and conservative movement at large has been willing to sacrifice to even have some ounce of power. If we would have lost to Kamala this time around, we either would have gotten the complete acceleration version of a lot of people who just entirely quit participating, didn't pay taxes, didn't follow and obey laws, or we would have gotten the worst version, which is what I think we saw a little bit with COVID, which is people are just terrified. Ultimately, most people are a lot more cowardly than what they would say online, and they just bend over and take it. And then we get like a very, 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 subjugated population who lives in dystopic America. And either one of those has just been, one of those is like got a good side, like at the end of, political violence. But one of those is like, that's when you get, we're one step closer to 1984. Not to say that we're not closer to it right now, but I think that would have definitely jumped that timeline ahead of time.
Yeah,
it would have back the ground knowing what we know now, especially as it seems like Trump was never
You're
supposed to win in the first place.
cracking me up in chat. Sorry to laugh while you're talking, but TNT says, how did Jimmy Carter in a coffin look more lively than Joe Biden? Mad news now. We had the mummy and the dummy. Evil Elmo said sniff and licks.
Yeah.
So good. That cracked me up. Yeah,
Yeah.
Archie Cunningham says Lindy Lee will be a Republican very soon. Yeah, I think so too. I honestly think so too. That there's no way she could go back to helping the Democrat Party, in my opinion. The way that they've treated her, the way that the public has treated her, all up and down. And the only people that are welcome to her are MAGA Republicans, which is become the kind of the norm, right? The MAGA side tends to welcome folks in with open arms when they wake up, you know what I mean? Versus the Democrat Party kicks anybody and everybody out for wrongthink, The Democrat demolition crew. Yeah, for real. Yeah, we do. TNT says we need to be real careful about how many progressives we let in our tent. That's for sure. We can't confuse this progressive nonsense with MAGA. I'll take their vote, but not their ideology. That's for sure.
I just double check to make sure. Yeah, I don't know if Lindy Lee would ever be
Pee pads and knee pads.
Pee pads and knee pads.
These are Biden and Kamala references, by the way. Keep them coming, you guys.
Right. This is pretty solid. I haven't heard these. Figured I would have heard them by now too, seeing how long we had to attack them.
Right.
But yeah, Lindy Lee was on Laura Loomer like in the middle of February, and right after that episode had aired, I don't know, because Laura's just insane. Like, she's got a lot more bad than she does good, but when she's on it, she rolls 20s. Like, it's solid. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Did all this investigative work like the day after Lindy Lee was on her show, and brought up all these things about like Lindy Lee has lied about when she actually came to the country, like when she learned English, all these kind of different things, just kind of like lit her up on X. So to me, it's like, part of me just is tired of like accepting these people into like the right wing. Like, that's what the right wing has been, right? We're getting like, we're going to adopt Tulsi into the right wing. We're going to adopt RFK into the right wing. We're going to adopt Lindy Lee into the right wing. It's like, at a certain point, it's like, where's our homegrown talent, right? Where's our guys who like never were like diddling kids or like lied about sleeping with Chinese agents or
we're smart enough to not be fooled by the Democrats and had principles in the first place. Yeah, right. I get that.
Right. Someone who was just like there from the beginning, who was like, I always thought this way. Yep, I grew up in this small town over here, and like, I've been doing this ever since, and here I am. Like, where are those guys at? Why does it always have to be these just like, it's all social clout too? But again, that goes back to what I'd said previously, where the right wing is just such in a state where they're so terrified of like their public perception, even after everything, that they want to be seen as like, we accept everybody. And Steve is right? Like, we'll accept anything at this point. Is ridiculous. But it's also,
I think that's more of an enemy of my enemy type scenario than it is friend.
That I would agree with RFK. But ultimately, I think though, when you look at large organizations like Turning Point USA, for example, the level of compromise that they've reached, right? Especially when it did go to things like sexual identity. And now you have like there's massive accounts on X now, like Lady MAGA, right? Lady MAGA is a trans dude who just supports MAGA, and people love her. She's got thousands of followers.
Right. There's the gay conservative and some other folks as well.
Right. Stuff like that, where you begin to undermine it, right? Because now you're putting yourself in a position where were you ever to finally want to go back to your more traditional values, you're going to have to start kind of like peeling back the layers of people who you otherwise convinced to join your party. And so you're either a liar or you're a manipulator. It's like one of those two, right? It's like you either lied to this person outright and said, oh, no, actually, no, like, we're going back on everything. We don't believe that anymore. Or it's like, well, we always knew we were going to go back to that, but we just wanted your vote in this election. Not to say, well, I mean, I think manipulator might be the better path to go, because it's like you're trying to win an election pragmatically. But it goes to show just like how what's the right word for that? The disbelief in her own values. Like so many people, it does come with things like abortion as well. They're like, oh no, like well, that's a losing issue. It's like really, dude. It's like we've reached the point where we're just like everyone gave up collectively on the right wing about abortion. And then now we get a lot of people who like make fun of abolitionists. Are like, you'll never win. Stop being so black-pilled. And it's like, okay, dude, if we were to the point where the right wing has now accepted the fate of where abortion is at currently, then like that speaks volumes to all the other values too. And then what next are we about to compromise on? So I think it's just a sad state. And that's why I think we got to take advantage of where we're at right now, break out of this kind of mold, and then begin to actually formulate more of a right wing. I mean, it's a bit hard to expect with Donald Trump, who's a New York Democrat. He's really good at getting back to what we should be at normal, right? Like Donald Trump, who's in politics, around like the 1990s and stuff, he looks at like, he looks at a bit of, what's the word? He sees what's going on and he's like, okay, he's like, I might be a Democrat, but like, men can't be women though. Like that's an easy thing for him to like take on and kind of herald, right? Because I think that's a very basic belief to have there.
Yeah. TNT says, I feel like the Republicans can be weak, but the MAGA right needs to be the muscle and the morality of the Republicans. They can join the big club, but the small club is making the rules. Yeah, I like that. I like that concept. Steve says, we accept the matriarchy. We accept gay influencers. We accept people swearing in, not on a Bible. We accept progressives who have been canceled by their own party. When they contributed to that party, it's BS. Yeah, I mean, we take them in for their vote, but it's like what Matt Walsh said a while back about Cenk Uygur, old chunky yogurt, that you've been on your side saying the shit that you say for a decade now, or however long it's been. I don't know. But that's what Matt Walsh said, was for a decade now, and you're in no position to be a thought leader. It's your role to just sit back if what you're saying, because he said this when Cenk was going around doing all of his MAGA. Yeah. He wants to say that, yeah, he's a populist and everything. He's going around on all these MAGA channels what he would call MAGA channels, and seemingly being agreeable to what they're saying to him. And that's where Matt Walsh was like, bro, if you're really trying to take this avenue, you need to shut the hell up. And you're in no position to be a thought leader. You've been on the wrong side of this for years, while we were telling you opposite of what you're saying now, or what you were saying the whole time. So now that you decided to jump ship or whatever it is that you're doing, which I never fell for it. I called him a grifter probably before anybody else did, to be honest. But it's a good point that Matt Walsh made, that, if you're going to switch platforms or switch parties or anything like that, you should probably step aside and just watch and learn. You know what I mean? You're basically a baby now.
Well, it's crazy to think that we're having this conversation about this. But then you also see like with like that Nala story, right? I was a porn star yesterday, and they're like, yeah, dude, you definitely, why don't you go up and preach? It's like, yeah, no, like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, exactly what you're saying, right? Like, why don't you like sit back and learn a little bit? Maybe sit here for a little while, actually truly absorb the community of values here, and then maybe you can like start giving speeches about stuff.
Right. Make sure you're not just hyped up for the moment. You know what I mean?
Right. Or is it just, straight up just grifting. I think that's what a lot of what
that's what Cenk was doing. That's for sure.
Doing. Right.
He saw that his own audience was kind of turning on him, feeling like they'd been lied to this whole time and stuff like that. So he went and tried to pick up other people's audiences, which scumbag move, in my opinion. Just be principled and steadfast, and let the cards fall where they may. But he's not going to do that. He's in it for the business. He's not in it for anything else. Jeremiah says Matt Gage bitched out way too hard. He's got to stay. He got to stay on his cute news show now with that Botox. He did. Like,
it does disturb me when men like of that stature put on like a lot of like, whether it's facelifting and things like that. I get like a little bit of the makeup stuff, but when you can tell it's noticeable of like Bill Burr level like facelifts and such, it's like, it's a little gay, man. Like,
yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. No, yeah. Alice, read your mind. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's like my first thought going through this. It's like, look how easy. Everyone's like, yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, right? And then you're like, otherwise, though, in the conservative circles, you're like, maybe like a porn star should probably like just sit in church for a little bit before she starts trying to, lead people in Bible worship. Whoa, are you questioning the power of Jesus? It's like, dude, What is going on right now?
Right.
Wild.
For sure. For sure. So let's move on to the next one here. Let's see. Which one do you want to talk about next?
I think a good next one would be the Destiny thing. Moving on to Destiny having an insane comment. I actually clipped a little bit. Well, I didn't clip. I found a clip of Asmongold actually responding to it. But you can see what Destiny says on screen there.
Okay, we'll play the clip. I don't think Asmongold will knock us for commentating over something that he said and highlighting it. But let's see here. Drama alert posted. Asmongold goes off on Destiny for his comment about DJ Daniel, the child cancer survivor. That Trump pointed out. We all know the kid. We talked about him last show, and
yeah, made him an honorary Secret Service agent, right? Is that what the position was that he got?
I don't know if it's honorary. I think he made him an official Secret Service agent. Dude got a badge. Okay. The Secret Service director came and kind of swore him in a little. Like I think it's like legit. You know what I mean? I don't know how much authority he really has, but it might be honorary. I don't know.
If like this DJ Daniel kid drops the Epstein Files, he's like, guys, give me the keys, man.
They gave me the keys. I'm doing it. And then, hey, you know what? That's what they should do. They can be like, what are you going against the cancer survivor? What are you doing? You're going to blame the kid? What are you doing?
Yeah, right. No, that'd be the perfect person to drop it. Is like, now there's no one to get mad at, man. Like, how are you going to get mad?
Right.
He's like an 8-year-old kid. He uploads him from his dad's Facebook or something like that.
Right. That'd be hilarious. Sorry. She's trying to climb up me. You're pulling on my wires. Hi. She's hormonal. She's pregnant, right? Aren't you? You're not supposed to be. That's messed up. That's messed up, Parker. So let's see here. Yeah, that would just me says that would be badass. What's that?
He said from a Nokia G2 cell phone. I saw a funny meme speaking of that, where it was like they'll ban this before they ban nuclear warfare, and it was a picture of like a hammer handle, but a Nokia had fitted for where the hammerhead was supposed to be. So it's like just a big hammer handle and then a Nokia. It's like, that's actually hilarious, man.
That is funny. Oh my goodness, you are being really bossy and needy right now. I'm trying to work. Her tail's just wagging 90 miles an hour. Okay, you gotta get down.
She's like, I want to play, man.
You want out? Let me let you out. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna let her out.
Oh, you're good. I was gonna say, can we get Daisy to drop the Epstein Files?
This one's Parker, but yeah.
Or Parker, yeah, my bad.
You're
TNT said, I saw some ghetto whores twerking on him. It was disgusting. The black community doesn't respect him. Was that before or after he got assigned? I think I'd seen that video, but I can't stand watching any of that stuff. So I saw like a couple of seconds of it before I swiped it up.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I had to take the headset off. My bad.
No, you're good. I was reading the TNT comment there about the fact that there was some, he said there's some ghetto women who are twerking on him. DJ Daniels, that is. Was he at a gas station?
Well, he was being bullied and stuff on camera. Like, it's pretty messed up how they treated him from the get-go. Tell me about the rabbits.
Well, that was my first thought when they did that. I was like, this kid, like, I'm, and I hate even thinking about it like that, but like, it's just the way that community is, man. They're so driven by like race things that I was just imagining, it's gonna be a matter of time before he's gonna get bullied, or someone's gonna like worse than that, like he gets beat in the street somewhere, or like his dad gets targeted, or at the absolute worst, he just straight up, gets unalived because, Donald Trump wanted to honor him.
Right. Yeah, that would not be good. Just me says, I'm only seeing my comments right now. Did everyone leave me? I don't think so. Do you have it on top comments or all messages? Let's see. TNT said, okay, TNT responded. Can you see TNT? So maybe refresh. Anyways, let's play this video real quick from Asmongold. Sorry, I got derailed there a little bit. They left to pet the dog. You Elmo.
Yeah. We'll read this comment because I don't think Asmongold says it himself. But that's the comment there from Destiny. Oh, no, it's on the screen, on the video. There.
Oh, Destiny said you can't make comments like this. Is that what you're talking about?
No. If you go full screen again, because it's in the background of Asmongold's screen share.
Oh,
Yep.
Gotcha. Destiny posted on X, Stephen Bonnell II, by the way.
Yeah, his full name there. But that was his comment for the DJ Daniel kid. He says, difficult to know if the rabid Trump support comes from his parents indoctrinating him or the abscess the brain cancer left behind.
Oh, goodness. What a scumbag. I
Right.
didn't even see the comment yet, so I'm glad you pointed out that we gotta point that out. But here's Asmongold's response. Let's hear.
It's muted.
It's muted?
Yes, sir.
You know, it's got music in the background anyway, so maybe we shouldn't play it.
Oh, it's just Asmongold's Skyrim thing. I've never got hit with that. Yeah, it's like his own like Skyrim AI like mix.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to remove this and restage it. Let's see here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I've covered Asmongold a lot on my personal channel. Never given me any trouble. He has that.
I don't know the guy that much, to be honest with you. So,
well, he's a dirty roach, but he's pretty funny sometimes.
Okay. Let's see.
He's just a massive gamer, right? World of Warcraft. He's probably like one of like the only like the few kind of right leaning and openly kind of like right leaning individuals in the space. Not entirely though. He's definitely got like, you know, some liberal takes though. But definitely like a different, you know, breath of fresh air compared to any other kind of Twitch streamer you'll see.
Okay. Tix Bomber said Asmongold is banned 14 days right now. Dang.
Interesting. He got banned recently for the comments he made about the Middle East. I can't remember what he had said.
Donnie said, "What do you do this time?" I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't follow him too much. But here, we'll try it again.
About this, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. The thing
working this time. Okay.
Is though is like the thing is that you can't make comments like this and then make appeals to decency, right? You can't do both.
Yeah.
And so I think that in a lot of cases, I've heard Destiny kind of make appeals to decency a couple of times, especially even in regards to me. And I don't think you can do both of those things, you know. But yeah, he does this a lot. It seems. Yeah, it was the same. He did it with the person that got shot at the Trump rally as well. And just in general, I do feel like the thing is that it's interesting because in a way it's like I get the joke, right? I'm also a very big dark humor enjoyer, but at the same time, I think if you want to do something like this and it's like you're doing it with politics, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to be frustrated about it and like annoyed, etc. And so yeah, you can, but they end up looking like Destiny. Yeah, I don't know, but I've seen this before. I do think like comments like this, it's kind of like what I was saying before about like supporting Hamas, where it's like, yeah, you can be pro-Palestine, but like if you're trying to like run defense for a terrorist organization, then now like you're actually like kind of hurting them. You're hurting the cause because of just how indefensible the position is, right? He's supposed to represent the side of morality. Yeah, exactly, right? Like nobody's going to give you the moral high ground if you make comments like this. It's just that simple.
Yeah, that's actually well said.
From what Tix is saying, and which is insane, which I don't know how much you followed this in our world, but Sean had actually called for violence against Senator Rick Scott, I believe it's the guy's name.
Yeah, he did. And I did see that. I don't follow Hassan at all, but
yeah, well, he only got banned for 1 day. And so if what Tix is saying here is true, then that means that Asmongold probably started covering it, and now Asmongold got hit with a 14-day ban just because he was covering the fact that Hassan was saying that, which is insane.
Crazy.
I didn't see that Ethan Klein had gotten the 30-day ban. That's kind of wild.
I know and then Ethan Klein got 30 days for the same thing of nuking Hassan in the same way. Interesting.
I wouldn't say it's the same way. Ethan Klein and Hassan have been going back and forth for what, almost like 2 or 3 months now. Like really hard against each other, and it's kind of over the split about what's going on in the Middle East. They kind of like what set them so differently. So they've been kind of like going after each other quite a bit. As far as I know, though, recently Hassan's kind of left it alone, and Ethan Klein has been just continually posting content on it.
I can't believe some of these guys have as many followers as they have, and their videos do as good as they do. Man, it's disappointing. it's disappointing from our perspective. We're out here giving a good faith effort, and these people just cater to the cult, and it's just like, ugh. How about taking the easy road cop out? TNT says, I can't take Asmund seriously after I watched him cook Dollar Tree steaks. They sell steaks at Dollar Tree? I want to know more about that. What?
Yeah.
House said, I thought Destiny was supposed to go to jail. I don't know if that's still going on or what, but I know he basically shared,
Revenge porn.
Yeah, revenge porn. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of what it was. Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, burgers about tree fitty.
Rather have a good burger than a steak. Or at least, yeah.
I liked my burgers when they were $1 from McDonald's when I was growing up.
$2 steak, huh? I might have to try them out. I saw that, Chris. Not sure what that is, though.
Yeah.
Is that a bird crap? I don't know what that is. Special delivery for Destiny.
That's funny.
Not sure what that is. Oh, it's a who mushroom? I don't know what that is. That was the first Asmund Gold video I've ever saw. The steak looked worse than his teeth at the time. Oh goodness.
Yeah, I'd actually saw it with like it was like that one really that one chef that has like a huge following on YouTube had responded or like made a video about it, and he was like, oh, here's how I would have actually done it. He's like, you know what? He didn't actually make that too many of a bad steps. But he's like, but here's how I would have made it. And he made like a whole video off of like the back of Asmund Gold showing how he made his like dollar steak.
No, that's funny. That's not me. That's the chicken. Okay.
That's funny.
Am I talking too much? And then that made Parker whine through the door. Oh my goodness. Chris said cat shit. Oh, that's what that picture is.
That's funny.
In this video, these are his new teeth. Okay. That's really funny.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the YouTube chef was. I can't remember who it was at the time, but that's how I first, found Asmund Gold probably about a year or so ago.
Yeah. So once again, Destiny is a piece of crap, and one of these days he might be looking at things through the others from the other side of a jail cell, but probably not. And I'm not calling for that unless I don't know. I mean, what he did about the revenge porn thing was pretty messed up, but
right.
Allegedly, I don't even know if he really did that or not, but it seems like that's what he did. That's not me. That's the chicken. That's what she said. I'm not cutting like the longest fart ever here or anything like that. That was a chicken.
That's funny.
It's like, what? I was even curious, like, what is that sound? That's funny. So, yeah, Destiny. Good old Destiny. Stephen Bonnell. So let's move over to this tech leaders change course on the H1B. And you're going to have to kind of take the lead on this one because I didn't even notice this before.
Yeah. So, Jack Pacific is a bit kind of facetious. Man, I can't even talk. Forget it. Jack Pacific kind of points out the fact because there was a recent podcast with Mark Andreessen on the Lex Friedman podcast. Now, the H-1B visa discussion sparked a huge, or, maybe not huge, but a definitely decently sized, inside civil war, especially on social media, especially when it came to Elon Musk, and especially when it came to a lot of the racial discussions around immigration, and what we were expecting and what a lot of people would want, kind of the populace versus the elites at the top. What we got and what we heard from Mark Andreessen specifically, and I pulled a quote from him, as he said, Mark Andreessen said, "We have been in a 60-year social engineering experiment to exclude native-born people from the educational slots and jobs that high-skill immigration has been funneling foreigners into." Now, the main thing here, though, is the fact that he's still, both of them, right, everybody at the top, has now moved closer to what they believe to be the populist position, which isn't obviously canning the entire visa program in general, but ultimately reforming it, right? They want to put specific things in place that allows for it to still exist. But as Elon's reforms were to place a salary minimum, depending on what job field it is, as well as a kind of like high tax on the company who used the program, to make it so that it's nearly the same for if they want to bring somebody overseas versus they hire a native born person. And secondarily, Mark Andreessen basically just said that he thinks that it should be installed kind of like with a quota system, so that it's like it's not always going to be, or at least runs pace with how many American and native born workers are getting hired for it with as well. It's a discussion that I see developing in the background because they have to. I think the longer that they let this go on and they try to do developments without making any kind of big, news about it, the more easily that the elite will get taken care of what they want. I think most people, after learning about, though, a lot of what the HB1 program has been doing, as well as some of those kind of shittier moments from like, PBD hiring somebody for a year contractually for like $40,000 to be a graphic designer for their entire YouTube channel, as well as many other positions that got exposed by people who were using the program. They just outright said, no, ban this entirely, like, get rid of this. Like, what is this program? Especially when you look at the social sentiment that comes from the fact that we're not even deporting the illegals here. It's like, well, legal immigration makes things worse too, because now you have illegals who take all the jobs from the bottom there. But at the top, the legal immigration kind of caps and pushes out a lot of people who are sitting in that region, and like the middle ranges, as well as the higher levels, especially when it comes to high skilled jobs such as engineering, coding, and anything that kind of fits that bill in terms of like, relation to AI development, in relation to website development, website creation, not content creation per se, but just like also front end and back end app creation, and all of those things. And so when this discussion happened in December of, I think it was on Christmas of all days, is when we saw probably the most emotional we ever saw Elon Musk, which was, telling people to go fuck their fucking faces,
Right.
and calling people subtards and such, because it was clear that he felt a specific way about, his desire for legal immigration and wanting to import people in here to work. I think that obviously clashes with the way most people feel when it comes to how the average American, the average populace, the average MAGA voter, could literally care less if there was an H-1B program. But now that they saw a bit about it, they see how it affects the median income of a lot of jobs, because the H-1B is not just for specific departments. The H-1B, when in fact is ramped with fraud, they were hiring way more people than the 85,000. Also, the fact that the H-1B visas, as long as the rest of them, also allow for all the family members to come with them too. So they kind of float this number of like, well, only 85,000 of these visas get sent out there, and we take them in. But if you took an average of every single one of these, brings their wife and 2 kids, right? It's like, then you're looking at like, that's easily like 400,000 a year. But we know with these families, that's not how it works. They abuse that system. They go, actually, yeah, my brother, my uncle, my aunt, my sister, my cousin, Tamika, it's like a song, right? And then all of a sudden 28 people are coming in on one visa. There's all this kind of stuff there that most people, I think, decided when that discussion happened, and seeing Elon react, seeing all the financial costs with it, they said, no, ban it. But I guess as Jack Posobiec's highlighting here with Post Millennial in a recent conversation with Mark Andreessen, who's one of the kind of PayPal mafia types, changing their mind or their perspective about it and wanting to align closer to where the populist movement is at.
Nice. Mad News now says he's got to roll. God bless. See y'all on Monday. God willing. Peace. Christ is King, brother. We'll see you on Monday.
Take it easy.
Let's see here. TNT said, when I walk through Portland with my MAGA hat and salty cracker eat shit commies sweatshirt, fuck your face is the nicest thing I hear. Man, I feel bad that you're up there, man. It's a bummer, dude. It's a cesspool.
I don't even know if you consider Oregon a part of the United States.
Right? Didn't they well, I mean, the Chaz did defect, right? The Chaz chop. Hey man, get yourself an America First shirt, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
How long was that? Like a month and a half?
Nah, I'm just serious. What was that you said?
Was that how long the Chaz was there? It was like a month. How long was that, man? It's like 40, 50 days, something like that.
I don't know. It feels like a couple months, but
And it was like, who was it? Was it Raz Simone who was leading it?
Yeah,
Who
I
was
think that's
kind
right.
of like lower end. What is his? He's like a lower end like rapper, I believe. Like rapper, like pimp type figure.
Wannabe. Let's see here. Just real quick. Once again, make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Go check out Atlas's channel. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Join the Discord. But TT says where you see those at. You can go on like my channel page, and I think it'll actually it has the Teespring shop up there. But I was really just kidding. But if you wanted to, man, that's cool. Designed them all myself with the use of some AI.
Chad's with Seattle.
Seattle. Okay, that's right. Yeah. Archie Cunningham. Hopefully Destiny goes to jail. I wouldn't be mad, but if he did, that would give me less content at times, because I like to feature him in my daily videos sometimes, getting owned by the whoever it is that he's talking to. But there's plenty of old videos of that as well. So I mean, there's no there's no shortfall of those available. Chaz sounds like a lesbian street cult.
Yeah,
that's funny. I think they ordered they have different sizes and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, I got 3 shirts from them, and they're all the same size, but they all came they all fit me a little bit differently. So I think it's because I ordered the different like styles of shirts as well, but they're all kind of t-shirts. But check it out. I appreciate that if you do, but you don't have to, that's for sure. Let's see.
You have sweatshirts though too, right?
Yeah, I got hoodies and stuff like that, and I could probably get a promo code that'll save you 10%. So if you're serious, let me know in Discord, and I'll post the promo code in Discord for you to save a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Destiny, Chris, Destiny likes that, by the way, supposedly.
Yeah, that is not a punishment to Destiny.
Yeah.
To Destiny, you'd have to force them into a loving relationship with a wife that's not open.
Right.
Like, no, you don't get to watch Destiny. You have to participate.
Tix Bomber says, when Destiny has run out of arguments because he just angrily talks faster and faster. Yeah, and this is I'll take this opportunity to point out one of the most popular Democrat tactics is to talk really fast and throw 5 or 6 facts at you. And in these debates, you only have time to like rebuttal one of their facts, right? So the other 4 get they get mentioned and they don't get rebutted. So they're really good at that type of attack, because they're obviously, Trump does this. And yeah, his jaw gets all Canadian South Park like.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a tactic. It's something that we should try to adopt when we're debating, folks. Talk fast, throw a bunch of facts out, and then only give the person time to rebuttal one of those facts and let the other ones just sit unchecked, right?
Well, I can't remember who said this. It might have been the Hodge twins. I think it was the Hodge twins. They said Destiny's just like left-wing Ben Shapiro. Like, they're the same person, just they both sit on different sides of the aisle. They just talk super fast.
That's funny. Yeah, and you see it from some of these other folks too. Jenk will do the 5 facts things. David Pacman will do the same thing, although he's a little bit slower.
Well, all the people on the left do the whole like, oh, you don't actually believe that, do you? They do the whole like the dramatization of it, like,
oh yeah, and
they
frame it from
try to overthrow the government. Whoa.
Yeah, and they frame it from the get-go as well. Let's see here. Talking fast like that is also something you learn in certain debate clubs. It's why you'll see in a political the political pundits that are professional debaters. Yeah. See, and that's the thing that sucks is I made a video a little while back about Luke Beasley getting schooled by somebody, and then the commenter came in and said, why don't you challenge Luke to a debate? And I actually responded today and said, well, maybe he come on my show, we can debate. But, I have a feeling I'll probably lose just because I'm not a master debater. You know what I mean? I just give you my opinions on stuff.
A master what, dude?
And so but I'd be willing to do it if you
I
wanted to
would
come
love
on
to
my
debate
show.
him.
Yeah,
We
if you
can,
wanted to come on here and
we can
talk about
tag
it.
team him. We can
Right.
do the Eiffel Tower on Luke Beasley in here.
But honestly, it was funny because this commenter, I don't know who it was, but it was like, if you got an avenue to connect this, and then I'm thinking, well, actually, I know his co-host somewhat, and it's like, if I really wanted to, we could probably try to make it happen. We might have to do like a co-stream or something like that, but
Yeah.
where it's on both channels. But I mean, might have to try to make it happen. You know what I mean? I haven't thought about really bringing other people on, which to him, I don't know why he would do it, because he's got a much bigger audience. He'd be lending his clout to us, and I don't know. I just don't feel like it's in their purview to do that to smaller channels. But maybe they would. Maybe he'd have fun trying to own us or whatever. But
Yeah.
I'd like to get more lefty type thinking individuals on here and have when we go through these topics and stuff, get their type of opinions, and maybe we can have some good segments out of it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I would, especially if we did something like that, I probably need to stream it to YouTube. I would just go straight to X and I'd be like, it's free reign here, man. I don't
Right.
see anything that I want to say. Go the whole Andrew Wilson route, right? Especially because, when he pushes a lot back on, like, the gay stuff, he goes super hard into it, right? And he's like, so you realize, like, what we're talking about is we're sticking this into this, right? So we're fighting about, sticking this into this right now, and when you make it like so unavoidably but so direct is when that's when a lot of that stuff breaks down. But yeah, I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah.
Revenge of the
Donnie.
gays, dude. Fighting off a bunch of like little twinks off in the comments.
Donnie cracking me up. Tick said, "You're killing me, man. LOL." I don't know what that is. You have to tell me what that is in Discord.
Well, I'm pretty sure Donnie's a big fan of Buck Angel. I heard that he gets a lot of inspiration from Buck Angel.
He has pointed out that Buck Angel and Phil Labonte have never been seen at the same time at the same place.
Which is true. And what's crazy is, like, I remember when Phil first came on to the Timcast IRL scene, I was like, you know what, like maybe I'll appreciate this guy just because, like, he's a bit seemingly more masculine than like what Tim is.
Oh
Nah,
gosh,
dude,
okay.
that was gone. Like 3 episodes later, I was like, oh Lord, dude. Like, what does it take to get an ounce of testosterone onto that show? Like, it's bad.
I don't mind Phil. I think you guys like him less than I do, but he seems like he's trying. It's funny because lately he's been doing Tim Pool's show like on Fridays. Or I don't know if he did this last Friday, but he does like the evening show. I think it's because Tim does the Culture War in the mornings. He doesn't want to go live twice or something like that.
The baby now. I think he's trying to pull stuff back.
Yeah, that's true too. And he's doing. You can see him. His learning process. I try to pay attention to individuals when it comes to like these type of things, just so I can make myself better. If I can critique and notice their tactics, but it's just funny, like watching him go through and be like an interviewer now more than he ever has been before. And the way he asks some questions and stuff, he's getting better. He's trying, and I appreciate that. But I know you guys have your little beef with him, or at least Donnie does.
Yeah, I mean, my only beef with them was when I can't remember what it was about now at this point, but I just thought it was funny because Donnie was the one who got blocked by him. Phil Labonte, we started sending videos back and forth to each other on X, like just in replies. But then eventually it ended with him sending me some weird video of like Mario from, I guess, the series Mario. I didn't know Nintendo,
Right.
but like literally holding open his butthole. And like, it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. And I was like, that's when I responded to video too back. And I was like, you are a degenerate MFer. And then he just responded like laughing. And I was like, I can respect it. At least he responded in kind, right? Like, he's got like how many followers?
True.
And I had like a few hundred at the time. I was like, I can respect that.
Yeah.
I still think you're gay, but I can respect
that. That's funny. Donnie says he's making thirst traps for gay dudes on X. Okay. That's funny. Yeah, that was before I was I was involved with the show. Speaking of which, I talked to Donnie a little bit the other day, or earlier today actually, and we might have him come on and join us one of these days soon. We're going to try to work out a date because I know you and him used to host and co-host and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
bring him back in the fold from time to time, maybe potentially if he wants to. But he acted like he seemed like he did.
Why had to fire Donnie? Because he wouldn't stop talking about Israel.
Yeah, that's not good. Honestly, it's kind of part of the reason why I'm wondering if I'm shadow banned or not. And I've been considering starting the Jar Openers podcast channel and separating everything. Although if we do that, then monetization starts over from 0 subscribers. And I would like to have the show getting, regularly 1,000 concurrent people, and then we could get it monetized within a couple weeks, probably at that rate. But
yeah,
until then, I don't want to separate it off of our current channels. Well, first of all, I want to get you over 1,000, but if we get 1,000 concurrent regularly, that won't be an issue.
Right. Well, that's why I don't say anything, because I don't want to jeopardize your main channel. It's got like 30,000 followers on it. So
right. Yeah, that's something that I'm not really I'm concerned about, but it's a consideration or whatever. But I think I don't know. Like I said, I'm like I said in the Discord earlier today, I'm wondering what's going on with my channel and YouTube and stuff like that. But part of it's my my upload schedule. Let's see here. Is it breaking for anyone else? What are you talking about, Chris? What did I miss?
Oh yeah, your sound busted for a little bit, but it fixed itself.
Oh, okay, my bad. Was it cracking out or something like that? Crackle.
Yeah, it sounded like you were underwater.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I might have just been because you might have bumped a cord or something. That's what it sounded like to me.
Oh,
I did
kind
of like halfway pull out an auxiliary cord, and it's like, what's going on?
Oh, gotcha.
Going right back to normal.
Okay, I did upgrade the wire that goes from my mixer to the computer with the gold connectors, right? I did that just after the last show, so
oh yeah,
I was hoping that would help out a little bit. Remember, if you guys remember, I was having the issues with the mic and not connecting and stuff, but that was my settings. It wasn't the wire.
Yeah, we can always do streams that are just purely on X as well too, obviously, to avoid things as well, especially if you know something's going to be like content or topic heavy. And that reminds me too, we need to also probably have an X account that's for the podcast by itself as well.
Oh, that's a good idea. I have to set those up. Yeah, the people don't want to hear the back end stuff about the YouTube stuff, but it's not as easy as just starting another account. You got to separate your AdSense and stuff like that. So if one channel gets canceled, because, well, I'll just tell you a little bit. If you have multiple channels and one gets canceled, all of them are demonetized. All of your channels get demonetized that are on the same AdSense. So you got to be careful. Steve said, what's your X handle? I don't think I follow you guys. Mine is just @Worrell. And here I'll
mine's in the description.
Oh yeah, I think they're both in the description, aren't they?
Yeah, in the video. Should be towards the bottom.
But here's my account, and I'll click on Atlas's, but I got the inside of my truck on the screen. And then Atlas's is, let me close that without showing you guys all of my messages.
Mine. Yeah, Atlas _thug_. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Christ is king. Yep. Facts.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. So we got a few minutes left. Want to touch on anything else real quick? We kind of ran through the H-1B thing pretty quick, but I think you gave a good explanation.
Yeah. Well, there's a smaller story, which is just the obviously one major story that's kind of we didn't touch at all. Is just the fact that with the Syria falling, Christians are getting slaughtered en masse. Kind of maybe avoid X for a bit if you're kind of soft in the stomach. A lot of these people are being made to march like dogs. Field executions are happening. There were scenes where a bunch of these terrorist cells that were funded by the U.S., by the way, were riding people like horses until they were like bleeding on the hands and such, like very kind of disgusting things, and then just getting off of them, executing them where they were at, where they felt exhausted. But one story I wanted to go to that I think is particularly just kind of like a bit mind blowing is the fact that that viral California captain amid the wildfires, the lesbian lady who told people if your husband gets caught in a fire, well, he shouldn't have been there in the first place, was murdered by her wife.
Do we have that in the?
Yep, it's the second from the bottom story on the outline.
Okay, that's it right there.
Yep, it's from iHypocrite. Took the screenshots there.
Oh, can you share it? I just
yeah,
I messed up on my X account.
Yeah, let me do it right here.
Okay, my bad.
Interesting. It got deleted. Boom.
Oh, is that what's going on? Okay.
Yep.
I was like, I think I did something to my X account. I won't pull it up. Okay, so it got deleted, huh? I wonder why.
Let me look up separately.
Let's see. Holy crap. Okay.
Here, I got the story there from CNN, though. Hate you having to use CNN, but this is who has the story.
There we go.
Yeah, manhunt underway after police say the woman killed her wife, the California fire captain who battled Eaton fire and fled to Mexico. Oh, Lord, you cannot see that at all. There we go. Yeah. Rebecca Becky Moroder, multiple stab wounds in her home in Ramona. She was dead at the scene about 15 minutes after they had got there. Here, pleading. I believe it was on the phone during the 911 call, but she says, Yolanda, please, I don't want to die. But I guess Yolanda Olezniczak, whatever you say that. You should have thought about that before. Trying to find the part, though. Yeah, here it is. So her wife, who remains at large, was sentenced in 2004 after she pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter in the fatal stabbing of her then husband, serving time in prison until 2013, according to court records.
Dang.
CNN. But yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you, women.
And that's it. Good night, folks. Cherish your waitress.
But just kind of like an insane story, obviously. Like that's wild, especially for someone who was like recently like viral. Just for like a day, but obviously for something that she had said that was really dumb. And then that happens. Obviously, that's not what anyone was hoping for by any means, but just goes to show, there's always a bit of the crazy that comes with, like lesbians and gays and such, right? Which is why I think you see the lesbians commit a lot of violence against each other. But also the same reason why you think see a lot of gay husbands doing things to children that should be, that's not even a good word you could say for YouTube for it. But it's probably why you see those trends happening, right? There's someone that's just busted in the same kind of way in these people. They're hurt and broken. And ultimately, though, it's unfortunate that was that lady's last moments. But, I guess what can you say, right? When who's to say too, right? Maybe like she didn't know for whatever reason that maybe that her partner, that Yolanda girl maybe she didn't know that she had killed her husband. Who knows, right? But I think you'd have to have an idea, I guess. But either way, just an insane story, right? Just crazy. Yeah. I think come full circle. Just so we were talking about that lady maybe just like a month or two ago.
Damn, that's crazy. You got distracted there for a second.
Yeah, John Shepard. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, domestic violence cases is highest among lesbian couples. They have an extremely high density rate, like per capita there. Which again, I think there's a lot of stuff that happens there where they what's the right word for that? It's the easier example for me because it's one like, lesbians are trying not to think about too much. Not to say like I think about a bunch of homosexual men, but it's a lot more in the news, which is when they buy children. And then we see these ridiculous stories where it's days later the child was abused in some of the most horrific way ever known possible. Also feeds into the theory that the majority of what people believe causes homosexuality in young men is the fact that they were actually assaulted by themselves as young men, and then like the cycle repeats itself. It's like a never-ending cycle. Like they do it again and again and again and again, and that's how you just like you get these kind of very demented and perverse individuals. It's ultimately just sad. And I speak that truly from the fact that I know someone personally in my life who actually became very close to, from a young age as well, as like 14 years old. One of the best guys I've ever met in my life. Great, phenomenal mechanic. Knows everything you can about Fords and just cars in general. Great guy. It had happened to him, and not to put him on the spot or any means, and I doubt he would ever watch the show either. But there were some clearly like maybe just like a bit of like hesitancies, and just maybe like the normal way of operation. Not to say like he was like busted by any means, but you could just kind of tell when it came to some social stuff, he was a bit reserved when it came to certain things, and you can only imagine that it did come from that moment in his lifetime.
Dang. Sorry, I got distracted. I had to set up the Jar Openers podcast X account because I mentioned it to y'all and I didn't want somebody to race and beat me to it. So
Yeah.
We have the official Jar Openers podcast X account. It's at Jar Openers Pod. Make sure you guys go over there and follow that as well. I was like, wait, I probably shouldn't have talked about that without having it out there. Somebody's going to create it.
Let me find it right now. Jar Openers Pod.
Yeah, at Jar Openers Pod.
Got it.
I got 43 people watching right now. I expect 43 followers now. Come on, guys. I'm just teasing, guys. But yeah, have a good night, Chris. I won't be up that early tomorrow. You're a better man than I am being up at 7 to stream at 7 in the morning, but we'll have to I'll maybe check it out on delay. Yeah, Donnie, it'll set you back $500.
Oh yeah, hey man, I've been hanging on to this for you.
TNT says, "Damn, I was gonna claim it and trade it for a sweatshirt."
Yeah. The Kelly Blue Book on this ad says it's worth at least $400.
Yep. Appreciate you guys for following over there as well.
But yeah, I guess you want to call it there. It kind of ran through pretty much everything.
Yeah, well,
it's all the major stuff here.
We'll call it there. We're past 9 o'clock, and I'm starving. The only thing I've eaten today is some potato chips with jalapenos. I realized that even though if you don't have nacho cheese, if you like nachos with jalapenos, the chips and jalapenos still are delicious. So,
yeah, you got to get like the sprinkled cheese and like microwave it a little bit too.
Get some what's it called? Some Kraft macaroni cheese. Get like the extra thing and just dump that in there and shake it up. It might actually not be too bad. Make your own Doritos. But I'll make sure I see a few people have actually followed over there. Appreciate that. I'll follow everybody back. Let's see here. Gotcha. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And so, yeah, with that, do you have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No. Since we do have that, at least on the X account set up, I'll try to do a decent job of like trying to find clips from here through the X producer, the media thing here. Maybe if I can just send a DM to that account, then you just post them occasionally. We do something like that. That way we're getting like clips that getting ran somewhere.
Yeah.
At least we get started on the process with that. Yeah,
we'll get the I'll get the Jar Openers logo put in there and some other stuff, and I'll go ahead and get it verified and everything, so you guys will know know it's legit and everything like that. But yeah, so with that,
post, here's what I think about the Middle East.
First post, a big old giant picture of my rooster.
You use at Elon Musk and you say, "Here's what I think about you, you dirty South American."
Fritos and chili. Now that's fire. Yeah, house Fritos and chili. Yeah, I use Fritos. I'll get the scoopable ones and eat chili with the scoops. Those are fire.
That is funny. Good night, everybody. May God bless you all in Jesus' name, even the woman. Somebody has to, because it ain't gonna be me. Jesus, take the wheel.
Y'all cracking me up. Thanks for stopping in this evening, you guys. Appreciate everybody for watching to the end and everything like that. People that are, here from the beginning, watch to the end. You guys are the champions of this channel, and I always enjoy chatting with you guys. Tons of fun. Make sure you hit the like button, share, subscribe. I appreciate everybody who watched on my channel tonight. Got 42 likes. You guys are great. Love the help, and thank you. Like I said, I'll make sure I follow everybody back at the on the Jar Openers channel, and still follow my main channel at Whirl. Same thing with Atlas. And I guess with that, let's see here. Christ is King. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Yeah, take it easy. Deport Cash, Fire Pan Bondi, Christ is King, and we'll see you Monday.
Right on.
Withdrawal, rolling Atlas Dog. We here to bring the truth. Jar open this podcast. We breaking through the fake news. They try to silence us, but we will be subdued. We're bearded alpha males here to save the youth. Spitting fire on the mic with the bass Christian takes. Exposing the lies, keeping the demons at bay. We ain't afraid to speak up. We won't be swayed. Jar open this podcast where the truth is laid. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas Dog. We're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. We ain't playing games, we're on a mission to awaken the masses with our intuition. Pulling out the corruption with no inhibition. Jar open this podcast, sparking a revolution. We're not afraid to stand tall in a world full of deceit. We're the voice of reason, bringing light to the street. Keeping it real, never missing a beat. Jar openers podcast, where the truth meets the heat. Jar openers, cracking open the lies. We're rolling Atlas Dog, we're here to rise. Bearded alpha males saving the youth from the godless demons, spreading the truth. Jar openers podcast, where the truth will never cease. Join us on the journey to bring back peace. We're rolling Atlas Dog, fearless in our release. Jar openers podcast, where the lies will decrease.